Hey everyone, today I'm super excited. This week's Alltek tip, we're going to do something a little different and we're going to have an interview. So we have a special guest here, my son and the tech prodigy, Talon Hamed. Talon, we really appreciate you being here today. It's really great. I mean, we know how much you've been studying this topic and are you ready to just jump right in?
Sure, let's do it.
Awesome. So Talon, what does end of life even mean for Windows 7?
End of life means that as of January 14th, 2020, Microsoft is no longer going to support Windows 7. That means no paid support and no updates of any kind. That includes security updates. And so if a new security concern like an exploit is discovered, Microsoft's not going to fix it. When new hardware comes out, like new computers, new printers, motherboards, any of the newfangled USB devices, Microsoft's not going to provide any drivers for it. And they're not going to even guarantee that those things are going to work with Windows 7.
Wow, very insightful. It's amazing. You're so smart. And then next question is, are there any problems with just keeping the Windows 7 Pro?
Depending on the situation, there could be plenty. If the computer is used in any kind of setting that requires compliance, like PCI, which is like when you're using credit cards, HIPAA, FINRA, anything like that, then even using that device after January 14th will make you non-compliant. And of course, if you're non-compliant with any of those situations, that can open you and the company up to a world of problems if anything were to ever happen. If it's a non-compliant environment, just a regular business that doesn't have to be, specifically compliant with any rules, then your computer's not going to quit working on the 14th or on the 15th. Your computer's going to work just as good on the January 15th as it did on January 14th. But after Microsoft drops support for the OS, other vendors are going to do that too. At some point, hardware and software vendors are going to quit supporting Windows 7 too. And so when antivirus vendors stop issuing updates for Windows 7, and they will, that's going to create really susceptible workstations that should never be used in a business environment.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Good information. Thank you, Talon. So if a business has many layers of security in place, like firewalls and antivirus, backups, etc., are the operating system updates really that important?
Absolutely. In fact, Microsoft considers them so important that starting in Windows 10, they're mandatory. You can't not do them. The reason layering is so important is that bad hackers, black hat hackers, bad actors, whatever you want to call them, continue to come up with new and better ways of getting through to your system. If they are somehow able to get a file to you that utilizes an exploit of your operating system, that can sometimes be very hard for antivirus applications to detect. So yeah, updates are critical.
Okay, so obviously very important there. That's great information. Thanks, Talon. So there's currently a lot of businesses that still have Windows 7 machines in place, and they may have a lot of them. So Talon, what options do businesses have that may have a lot of Windows 7 operating systems currently?
If the business computers aren't very old, like maybe less than 2.5 years or so, and for some reason they came with Windows 7, you may very well be able to do an in-place upgrade to Windows 10. There's some things you got to consider. Primarily, like I mentioned earlier, the compatibility with your existing applications and hardware, but it might be an option. And by the way, you can also do this if you have Windows 8 or 8.1. If your computer's a little older than that, then it's going to need to be replaced, which is not a bad thing. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but it's not a bad thing because computers are so reasonably priced nowadays. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm amazed at how much computing power you can get for the money now. Also, if a company has a lot of computers that need to be replaced, they can also lease them. Of course, when you lease them, there's all kind of tax advantages and it avoids an upfront expenditure.
Wow, you're such a wise little baby. And then last question for you, Talon, because I can tell you've had a little accident. You probably need to get changed. What benefit would a Windows 10 operating system and or new computer bring to a business?
Wow, there are so many good things in Windows 10, but I'll mention a few. The big one is speed. Windows 10 is a lot faster. The OS was written to better use resources like RAM and CPU cycles and things like that, and so it's noticeably faster. It boots up faster, it runs applications faster, it updates the screen and responds to your keyboard and mouse actions faster and more smoothly. It's just faster. Windows 10 is also more secure than previous OSs. Security is such a big thing nowadays that Microsoft has really made a lot of improvements with this. The security is implemented better throughout the entire system. One of the big problems that people have complained about over the years with Windows has been Windows updates, but they're a lot better now. They happen in a more predictable, more managed process, and businesses can choose different update schedules that work best for them. And I would probably say usability is another big benefit. Microsoft has adapted a mobile-first ideology in their products, and it really shows in Windows 10. Integrating with cloud storage and cloud applications like OneDrive and Office 365 allow you to use your programs and get to your files anywhere. And Windows 10 has great integration with handheld devices, not just Microsoft devices, but also Apple and Androids. Windows 10 running Office 365 provides amazing capabilities for teams to communicate and work together across the networks and the internet.
I see you really like to suck on your hand. So in the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and cut this interview short. Our guest needs to feed now. Also, just want to give a big shout out to our other guests, Lindsay Hamed, my beautiful wife, and the person who's groomed this little tech prodigy. So thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm amazed at how much computing power you can get for the money now. If a computer has a lot of... I know, after I did that, I thought, oh, it's going to be a baby thing.
Well, that's the best part, because when you say that, it's going to be hilarious. Like, I've been doing this for a long time.